Hello students, welcome back once again to the chapter 4th on filtration of the course particulate technology. So let us have a recap of last class session where we learned about the sand filters, the clarifying type of filters. So from today onwards, let us take up the cake filters. So in fact, in the last class, we also discussed the general working principle of industrial pressure filters along with the advantages and disadvantages of pressure filters. So one pressure filter that is commonly used in industry is the plate and frame filter press. So in today's session, we're going to learn about the plate and frame filter press in two different designs. One is a non-washing type of plate and frame filter press. The other one is washing type of plate and frame filter press. So plate and frame filter press consists of plates and frames that can be alternatively arranged and being supported on a pair of rails. The plate is a solid piece having a ribbed surface, whereas the frame is a hollow, it has a hollow space inside, so except for the rectangular frame. So usually the cross section of the plates and frames will be rectangular or square. So this is how we can have a plate and frame. So you can see the structure of each plate and frame. Okay, so this is a one representing flame, which is a solid piece. So and the surface of the plate is a ribbed one. You can see the projections making its surface a ribbed one. So then the frames will have hollow space. So except for the edges, so it is a hollow component of a plate and frame filter press. So we can arrange the plates and frames alternatively uh, so that there forms a channel in between each plate. Okay, so this is the cross-sectional side view of each plate and frame when they are alternatively arranged one after the other. So frame is hollow and that hollow space inside each frame is the space that is meant for introducing the slurry where the filtration exactly takes place. The alternate arrangements of the plates and frames result in the formation of chambers. So as I already told you before, so when you arrange each plate and frame alternatively one after the other, then it results in the formation of chambers in between each plate. So basically the plates and frames are either square or rectangular in shape. So they can be made out of a variety of construction materials depending upon the process requirements. So accordingly, cast iron, stainless steel, nickel, aluminum, monel, hard rubber and plastic are the different metals of constructions using which you can construct the plates. So in some cases, you may also incorporate the coated materials like rubber lined or lead lined, epoxy resin lined, metallic plates and frames can also be constructed. So in the arrangement of plates and frame to form a filter press, so in between each plate and frame, there is a filter cloth. So that forms the filter medium inside a press. So a filter cloth will be placed in between each plate and frame when they are arranged to form a press. So the filter cloth separates the plates and frames and also act as a gaskets to make a leak-proof seal between the plates and frame when they are tightly pressed against each other. The plates and frames will have a circular hole in the corners for feed inlet and a discharge connection at the bottom as shown in the figure B. See, this is how usually a frame is constructed. So each plate and frame both will have a corner hole such that when they are placed one after the other, these corner holes will match with each other. So that when you arrange the plates and frame alternatively like this, a continuous channel will be formed out of these corner holes that that means the filter cloths what are being placed in between plates and frame, they also will have the same kind of corner holes matching with the holes of the plates and frames. Okay, so each frame is provided with the inner connection, that is a opening that leads to the hole, and from here it opens into the space that is inside the frame. Okay, so in the sectional side view you can see that hole like this. So this dotted line indicates that there is a hole from this corner hole which leads to inside of the frame. So this is how it looks when you uh, look at a frame from the side with a section exactly somewhere here. Okay, so the slurry will enter here, and it will enter through the uh, opening, that is a core that is drilled in each frame into the annular space, that is where the chamber is formed to carry out the filtration operation. So when the filter press is closed by means of a hand screw or hydraulically, a continuous channel is formed along the whole length of the press out of the corner holes in the plates, cloths and frames. So since all the three elements, that is plate, frame and filter cloth, have the corner holes that are matching with each other, when they are placed one after the other like this and pressed tightly by means of a hand screw or hydraulically, so then it forms a continuous channel throughout the filter press through which you can feed the slurry that is to be filtered. So the frames, as I told you before, will have a opening in the interior of the corner holes so that the slurry channel opens into the interior of the frame, that is in the chamber formed between each pair of successive plates. Okay, so when you place the plate and frame alternatively like this, in between two successive plates, there forms a chamber. So these are the chamber in which the filtration take place. So each frame will have a opening that leads the slurry channel to the inside of the frame, that is to the inside of the chamber that is formed between the successive plates. So that is how the slurry can be admitted on each plate from the inside opening that is provided inside the frames that are alternatively placed in between each plates. So at the bottom of the plates, we have cold openings. These are the cold openings. So an opening here and a hole that is provided at the bottom of each plate. So along which you can take out the filtrate from the bottom. So that cores and openings will be connected to the discharge cocks as shown in the diagram. So these are the discharge cocks, so which are meant for taking out the filtrate during the operation. So that is having a connection to cores that are provided at the bottom of each plate. Okay, so this is how a plate and frame looks like when you arrange the plates and frame alternatively. Okay, so still this is not tightly pressed against each other. You can see that the arms provided on the sides of the frames are placed on the rail so that each plate and frame will exactly be in a position so that its corner holes are matched with each other to form a continuous slurry, continuous channel for slurry. Okay, so this is one view of plates and frames. You can see here, this is the frame. So it is completely empty at the center. So except for the edges, which are solid, but the plate is a um, fully solid piece, and at the center it has a ribbed surface. So between each plate and frame, you can place a good filter cloth so that when slurry enters here, it fills the empty space here and from there the filtrate goes out passing through the filter cloth. Okay, let us now understand the working of plate and frame filter press. The slurry to be filtered is pumped through feed channel. So whatever that channel is resulted by the corner holes of the plate and frame filter press assembly, the slurry is admitted. Then it runs into the chambers. So as it flows along the channel, it enters each chamber through the opening that is provided on each frame, then fills the chamber at the middle, and it occupies the entire space between each plate. And when you continue to pass the slurry by the pump into the press, the pressure is exerted here, due to which the filtrate will flow through the pores in the filter cloth, then flow along the face of each plate, and then it comes out from the bottom core opening through the channel and then through the discharge cock into an open channel at the bottom from where it goes out of the filter press. So you can see here also the filtrate enters each cloth, then flows along the face of the plate, then through these cold openings through the discharge cock it enters the open channel meant for taking out the filtrate. So that is how a filter press can be operated to carry out the filtration of the given slurry. Okay, so because of it runs into the chambers formed and fills the chamber completely, and as the feed pump continues to supply the slurry to be filtered, the pressure goes on increasing, and because of this the filtrate will pass through the cloth, runs down the faces of the plates, and finally leaves the filter through the discharge cocks. So during that process, the solids will get deposited on the filter cloth in the form of cake. So two cakes simultaneously form in each chamber. So one on the left side, one on the right side. So when the two cakes build up to the level of the other cake, then the two will join, thereby occupying the entire chamber uh, as a filter cake. So when the entire space inside a chamber is filled with the filter cake, we say that the filter is jammed. So then we can stop the slurry flow because more and more slurry cannot enter now because the space is occupied by the filter cake. So unless you remove this filter cake, you cannot carry out the filtration further. So then you can introduce the wash liquid to wash the cake that is deposited in order to remove the soluble material present in the cake. The wash liquid also introduced into through the same channel that is meant for slurry flow. So the wash liquid enters in the same way as the slurry enters. Then it passes through the pores inside the cake, and then from either side it passes through the filter cloth, then flow along the face of the plate, then come out through the discharge cocks. So that means the wash liquid also follows the same path as the slurry in the filter press. So after the washing is over, we can blow the air through the filter cake to remove any the remaining small amount of liquid that may be there inside the cake, and thereby making it dry to certain extent. Okay, so the washing of cake carried out in this type of plate and frame filter press is a simple washing. So we call this simple washing because the washing whatever is taking place here is not an effective one. That is because the liquid that enters the space cannot pass through the entire cake bed thickness. So, in that way, the washing of the cake is the imperfect one in this type of filter press. So, such type of washing is called simple washing. So, in this washing, the liquor to be used as a wash liquor is introduced through the feed channel, leaves the filter through the outlet corks follows the same path as the slurry and the filtrate. So it is suited when the cake is uniform and permeable. So this kind of washing will give you better performance only when the cake that is formed is a uniform cake and it will have a sufficient porosity. So when it is in the form of a permeable cake, then you can have this kind of washing. So otherwise, you need to make an arrangement for a thorough washing to have a efficient washing of the filter cake. In open discharge type, filtrate is discharged through corks into an open launder so that the filtrate from each plate can be inspected and any plate can be isolated from the surface by shutting off the cork if it's not giving the clear filtrate. Say this is all about the channel that is taking out the filtrate from the filter press. So we can have an open channel into which the filtrate flows from the discharge corks from each plate, and then in this open channel um, you can observe the nature of the filtrate that is coming out. So if you can make out that the filtrate coming out from any cork is not clear, then it is understood that that filter cloth has worn out. Then it can dismantle and take out that filter cloth. So that is the open discharge type is a advantageous compared to a closed discharge conduit. The closed technique is used when toxic and volatile materials are to be filtered. So usually a closed channel is used for taking out the filtrate whenever you have to handle a material which is a toxic, corrosive, or volatile in nature. So whenever the filtrate is having that kind of nature, then a closed channel will be incorporated to take out the filtrate from the filter press. In many filter presses, arrangement is done for steam heating. So some kind of heating arrangement need to be provided with the steam. So due to this, the viscosity of the filtrate is reduced and higher rate of filtration is achieved. So in order to see that the filtrate is not viscous, so that its flow will be taking place at a higher rate. So heating will be incorporated in many of the filter presses. So plate sizes that are usually used will be around 100 by 100 millimeter to 1500 to 1750 millimeter. So this is the size range of the plates in which they are made in industrial plate and frame filter press. So the operating pressure will be up to 750 kilopascals. If the press need to be operated at even more higher pressure, then of about 7 megapascals, so then you need to have a suitable construction. That is, material should be properly selected and strong construction is made to operate at a very high pressure. Okay, so in a plate and frame filter press, there are two methods of washing. One is called simple washing, the other one is thorough washing. The simple washing is what we have discussed in the previous slide. So simple washing, passing the washing liquid will occur in the same path as the slurry before cake discharge, and this is not that effective when the frame is completely full. So simple washing, so that's now we learned the construction of a plate and frame filter press in which the washing that is taking place is a simple one. So in that one, the wash liquid also follows the same path as that of the slurry, and it cannot pass through the entire bed thickness whenever the frame is completely full. That is, whenever the cake that is formed will not have much of the porosity, then the filtrate will not that easily pass through the entire cake bed thickness, in that the washing cannot take place fully. So that is the inefficient washing, what is happening in a simple washing. So in thorough washing type, the wash liquid is admitted through a separate channel behind the filter cloth on alternate plates. So this is another kind of washing that we can have in a plate and frame filter press. So we can have a separate channel through which we can introduce the wash liquid on alternate plates from behind the filter cloth. So if you can have that kind of arrangement, then the filtrate, that is wash liquid, will flow completely through the bed of the filter cake, and that kind of washing will be more efficient compared to the simple washing that we have already seen in the construction, just that we have seen just now. The wash liquor thus passes through the entire thickness of the cake and discharges through the drain cogs. So that is the advantage of thorough washing over the simple washing. So let us now understand how that kind of construction can be made in a plate and frame filter press. So this is a modified plate and frame filter press. So in which we have an arrangement for carrying out thorough washing of the filter cake. Okay, the arrangements of plates and frame will be in the same way as we have observed in the previous non-washing type of plate and frame filter press, except that here we have two different kinds of plates. So one is called a washing plate, another one is called non-washing plate. In the washing plate, there is an arrangement for taking the wash liquid inside the filter press. So that is done by providing another corner hole opposite to the corner hole which we used for creating a feed channel in the non-washing type of plate and frame filter press. So this hole will be present on all the plates and frames, so that when you place the plate and frame alternatively like this, so these holes form one channel that is meant for slurry, and the opposite hole will form a separate channel that is meant for passing the wash liquor. So for the easy identification of the washing, non-washing plates and the frame, so there is a arrangement, that is by providing buttons, we can easily identify which type of plate and frame, and that helps us in quickly assembling the washing type of plate and frame filter press. So usually washing plate will be provided with three buttons, and a non-washing type plate will be provided with one button, and the frame will have two buttons. So that will be arranged as shown here. Uh, there is one frame here, and after one, that plate should come. So first we can place a three button plate, that is a washing plate, and in between, of course, there is a filter cloth, and after that one more filter cloth comes, and now since plate is over, now next frame should come. So frame is a simple design, only one frame is there. So okay, so after the three button plate, two button frame will come. So after that frame, whatever that plate comes is a one button plate. So the three button and one button plates are alternatively arranged in between them. So there is a frame always separating a plate from each other. Okay. So after one button plate, again a frame comes which is of two buttons, and the plate whatever that comes will be three button plate. So like this we can have a order of plates and frame like 2 3 2 1 2 3 2 1 like that. Okay, so that is how we can arrange the plate and frame filter press for a washing type of operation. Okay, so let us now understand its working. So the different channels, the slurry channel and the wash inlet channel, will be connected to separate heads, one containing slurry, other one containing wash liquid. So first the filtration cycle is carried out by admitting the slurry through the feed slurry channel, and once the filtration is over, that is when it comes to a stage that the entire chamber between each plate is filled with the filter cake. So now we cannot further carry out the filtration cycle. So filter slurry inlet the channel will be closed. Then the wash liquid inlet channel is used for washing the liquid by admitting the wash liquid through that channel. So this plate and frame filter press arrangement is shown for a section along the uh, channel which is formed for washing the filter cake. Okay, so each plate that is having a three button um, is a washing type of plate, as I already told. So just like how the frame has a inner hole through which the slurry enters into the chamber, here the plates will have a inner hole through which the wash liquid will enter so that it can enter from behind the filter cloth that is on that particular plate. So this is how the flow takes place. The wash liquid enters here, then through that opening, the wash liquid enters each plate that is having three button, and from here it comes to the face of the plate, and in this operation whichever plate is having that hole, that is three button plate, for those plates the discharge cork will be kept closed. So otherwise the wash liquid after getting admitted here will flow along the face of that plate and will escape from the outlet channel, that is a outlet core that is provided in that particular plate. So in order to prevent that, this cork will be kept closed. Now the wash liquor will flow from behind the filter cloth, cross the filter cloth through the openings, and then it passes through the bed, filter cake bed uniformly. So then when it comes to the next plate, then it again passes into the filter cloth, then flow along the face of the next plate, and that plate cork, outlet cork will be open. Then through that it goes out from the bottom. So in that way, now we have made the wash liquid to enter from behind the filter cloth and flow, get uniformly distributed throughout the entire cake thickness, and finally the after washing the wash liquid can come out from the opposite, I mean the next plate in series. Okay, since the wash liquid is getting distributed entirely over the surface of the washing plate, so now we can make the wash liquid to flow at every location of the filter cake. So in that way, we can make the liquid to pass through the entire bed thickness of the filter cake. So that is how we can obtain a thorough washing in a washing type plated frame filter press. So this is the cord openings that are provided on the washing plates that lead to the inlet channel for the wash liquid. So the wash liquid passes through the whole thickness of the cake, whereas the filtrate passes only through the half the thickness of the cake. Okay, so the whole thickness of the cake is present at the end of the filtration cycle. So during filtration cycle, there are two cakes. So filtrate will have to pass through only half of that cake in each chamber. So that way, this construction is a advantageous compared to the non-washing type of plate and frame filter press. Okay, so this is another diagram showing you so how the working is taking place in a plate and frame filter press that involves the thorough washing. So first slurry can be admitted through it by keeping the valve open. So whenever the filtration is occurring, the inlet valve for wash liquid will be kept closed. Okay. So here slurry enters, flows through the channel, and when it comes to each plate, there is a inner core from each plate, so through which it enters the chamber that is formed between two successive plates. It is between the two plates. There is a space here because of the empty space in each frame. So here filtration takes place until the entire space is filled with the filter cake. So then you can shut off the slurry. So you can close the slurry inlet. Then you can open the wash liquid inlet. So from which the wash liquid flows through this space. Okay, during the wash liquid flow, the slurry flow will not be there because you will keep that wall closed. So the wash liquid enters here, flows here, and when it comes to three button plate, it enters from behind the filter cloth. Okay, so then it passes through the filter cloth, then it passes to the entire cake thickness in between two plates, and finally it comes to the other plate, flows along its face, and finally goes out from the discharge cup provided at the bottom. Okay, so this is one more figure showing you the different constructional and operational details of the plate and frame filter press. So these are the openings provided on either side of each plate and frames as well as the filter cloth that are forming a continuous channel through which you can pass the wash liquid and the feed slurry. So during the flow of feed, the inlet valve for wash liquid is kept closed, and when the washing is taking place, this valve will be opened and the valve for feed will be kept closed. So this is the discharge outlet from each plate, so which is meant for taking out the filtrate as well as the washed liquid from the alternate plates. Okay, that completes our discussion on the construction and working details of a plate and frame filter press. So coming to the advantages, the construction of a plate and frame is simple. It is low initial investment. Um, the maintenance is also low, so the maintenance cost is less. So this is the main advantage. It provides a large filtering surface area per unit floor space required comparatively. The high operating pressures are easily obtained in this type of filters. So we can alter the capacity. So we can easily detect the leakages in the equipment. Also, it is comparatively flexible. So the main drawbacks of plate and frame filter press are, so it requires high labor due to the batch type of operation. Then since the operation is intermittent, that is it is not a continuous operation, so there is two cycles, washing and filtration cycles alternatively taking place, so that makes the operation discontinuous one. So there is a dismantling of the filter press from time to time that may cause a damage to the filter cloths and also the other parts of the press. So high wear on the filter cloths is present in this type of filter press. It is not suitable for high throughputs, and housekeeping is a problem as it frequently dips and leaks. So there is a continuous process of arranging, assembling, dismantling, and all that. So because of that, the filter press keep leaking or dripping on the surface, on the floor surface, creating a housekeeping problem. So the washing in this type of filter press is not a perfect one. So that is again because of the intermittent nature of the operation. So compared to other types of filter, the washing in this type of filter is not a perfect one. So this is a real picture of a plate and frame filter press installed in an in an industry. A set of YouTube links provide you the videos showing you the working of plate and frame filter presses. So this is a recap. So let us go through a few multiple choice questions. Removal of activated carbon from glycerin is done by plate and frame filter press, rotary drum filter, basket centrifuge, none of these. So it is a plate and frame filter press which is used for this particular application. The cake resistance increases steadily with the time of filtration in a plate and frame filter press employing dash filtration. Rate filtration, pressure filtration, both A and B, neither A and B. Okay, the cake resistance increases steadily by employing both constant rate and constant pressure filtration in a plate and frame filter press. The plate and frame filter press flow in the plate and frame filter press flow of filtrate through filter cake follows plug flow, turbulent flow, laminar flow, none of these. Okay, so the flow of filtrate through the filter cake is taking place by laminar flow. Filtration should be stopped in a press if the cake becomes very dense, liquor stops flowing to the discharge cock, filtration pressure rises and suddenly both B and C. So whenever you don't observe the filtrate at the discharge or whenever there is sudden rise in the pressure, so that is the two cases where you need to stop a operation in a filter press. A filter press is a batch filter, not suitable if the liquid is the main product, having prohibitively high maintenance cost, not suitable for wide range of materials under varying operating conditions of cake thickness and pressure. So it is essentially a batch filter, so which is suitable for various applications. So because we can alter the capacity and the conditions. Supporting leg of the plated frame filter press is made of stainless steel, cast iron, high-speed steel, wooden plank. So which of these among according to you is the right material for constructing the supporting leg of a plate and frame filter press? So you cannot use a wooden plank because the plates and frames are heavy. So wooden plank cannot give you supporting leg with a strong construction. So again stainless steel and high speed steel need not be used, then the entire construction will become very costly. So with the cast iron, we can have a strong construction at the same time at a minimum cost. Which of the following is a pressure filter, Moore filter, plate and frame filter press, high speed rotary drum filter, then sand filter. Okay, so the pressure filter is the plated frame filter press. More filter is a vacuum operated leaf filter. Then rotary drum filter at high speed is usually operating under vacuum. So the pressure filter among these is the plate and frame filter press. So that is the end of the present session. Thank you for being a part of the session. I hope you have understood the concepts clearly. So let us again meet in the next session. Bye for now.